we are in Hot Springs, Arkansas, with Little Right Hook Johnson, and with the Crystal Wizard, Jim, and they are the organisers of this amazing festival, the Hot Springs 3rd Annual Crystal and Crystal Skull Festival. So what's happening here, guys, tonight?
We're having a meet and greet, and everybody's coming to drink the water.
What is so special about this water that we're drinking?
This is one of the 47 natural springs and hot springs, and each spring has the qualities to heal different parts of your body. And our water is for the kidneys.
Kidneys? Wow. So that's kidneys are in charge of fear as well in Chinese medicine, yeah?
Yeah.
What else have you noticed that it's helping with?
It really makes you strong. You just have so much more strength. And then when you drink it, you know you're getting information that your body needs, because that's what water does. It gives your body information it needs so your cells will work properly.
Wow, fabulous.
Big part of healing.
Some of the people that use the water, like a friend of ours that has some pretty healthy prostate problems, will be up 7, 8, maybe 9 times a night going to the bathroom.
Mm-hmm.
We give him the water, he starts drinking up. He doesn't get up at all at night to go, because he doesn't have to. His body's using the water rather than excreting it like it does all the other water.
Mm-hmm.
So it's helped him tremendously. He's feeling much better, he's stronger, he's getting around better, and so it's helped him with his ailment. And that's part of what we're doing here, is we want to help everybody that we can with what we have here to offer, and it's free.
The water here is free.
The water is free, yeah, there's no charge whatsoever.
And this place that we're in, it used to be a bathhouse, or it was a well?
It was a bottling plant for the water, and it's been here since 1870.
Mm-hmm.
There was a hotel, and the building went all the way to the stop sign.
Aha.
There was a whole nother building gone.
And now what's left is the water processing plant part of it, which you've changed into
no
a
process plant.
Oh, just the well.
It's just the well.
Right in the bottle.
Coming straight out of the ground.
It's a sand spring that's under the building, and it's sealed off.
Mm-hmm.
So the first time you ever get near the water is out of the faucet that we've hooked in up here, and so it's as pure as it can possibly be.
Fabulous.
We had it tested a little over a month ago, and they come back and said, "Where did you get the water?" And I said, "Why?" And he said, "Because it's the purest water we've ever tested.
Wow.
And we want to know where you got it."
How deep is it coming from?
I don't know exactly how deep, but it takes 3,000 years for it to get here. It's that deep.
So would that water not be affected by what's going on top of the earth at this point, because it's coming from so deep?
It's sealed under the building, and we'll never unseal it. We keep it as absolutely pure as we possibly can.
Fabulous.
So
tell us about what's happening this weekend with the festival, the Crystal Skull and Crystal Festival.
Well, we have speakers from all over come and share their information with everybody. And we have music, high vibrational music. And then on Monday, we go out for an annual crystal dig at Ron Coleman's.
Which is a special dig, special group dig?
Yeah.
I'm coming, right?
Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah.
yeah,
I'm going to find a mother crystal on Monday.
they're there.
And so tell me, this festival, it's the 3rd year now?
The 3rd year.
Okay. And you've been running it for the 3 years?
Yeah.
Right, okay. And your intention is to bring more crystal information to people?
Awareness.
Yeah,
Awareness.
Give all those who have interest and all those who know a place to gather and be together and share this with everyone. So it's that kind of place. It's a meeting and greeting place rather than a conference or anything. That's why we called it a festival, because you're supposed to come here and have a good time, not worry about business or money or anything else.
So this place, Hot Springs, and the area is a very important area on the grid, correct? We have a number of ley lines coming together.
Yes. and it's also the center of the crystal vortex in North America.
The center.
Yes. Hot Springs is actually in the bullseye of the crystal vortex.
So underneath us, it's all quartz crystal?
All crystals, yeah. For miles.
So when people come here, what should they be feeling like? What gives it away that there's a crystal vortex here?
Depends on the person. There are people who are completely and totally unaware that they're affected whatsoever because they live in a different world than we do on the same planet.
And for the people that are more aware, for the people that are open to crystal energy,
you feel the energy, you feel the boost, I guess you could say, that it gives you. And you've been there and dug them, you know. Oh yeah.
Yeah,
it's a whole different thing. And when you leave here, you feel the energy leave when you pass beyond its effect.
That's why I keep coming back every couple of months, right?
And it definitely affects you. Whether you're aware of it or not is up to what you've experienced in your life. You know, it's a veritable thing from person to person. We came and got hooked and started digging, and after several years, I guess, of that, we said, wow, you know, nobody celebrates this. So we celebrated it once. And now we can't stop people from coming back. They keep coming, oh, we're coming next year. And we're going, oh, we're doing it next year? And they go, yes, you are. So here we are.
And we're here speaking with Cindy, who is actually the voice for this skull, this amazing skull here called Osh. So, Cindy, please tell us all about this amazing skull, Osh.
Osh was found in a grave in Mongolia. There were 8 jade skulls total in the grave. When he came out of the grave, he was very heavily calcified, but because we touch him so much, most of that calcification has worn off. Because we don't put our fingers in his eyes are still very heavily calcified. He is hollow, which is very good for me because he's still very heavy. And you're starting now to be able to recognize the fact that he is jade.
Is there any idea of how old he might be or where he came from? Or
Osh has always given the same answer, that he is 1.2 million years old, that he has been here this time for 25,000 years. And as far as where he is from, he does not talk about that.
So he's been here for 25,000 years now within this particular three-dimensional form?
Yes, yes.
So he is an entity that is now condensed into the actual jade form?
It took me a long time to understand that, because he would talk about having been to this place and having seen this as a living, breathing being, and then he would talk about having been there and having done that as a skull. It took me a while to understand that he was a living, breathing being that chose that his soul or his consciousness would be downloaded into that piece to be available to work with us.
Wow. Is there an understanding that he was a human being or another type of being?
Not human. He does say that at one point his people were aquatic. In the beginning they were aquatic, and he talks about they moved through the water like salamanders. And someone came up to me after the fact and told me that is how salamanders move through the water. He said that they evolved to walk on land. I believe that these were probably feelers when they were in water.
These things here?
Yes, these protrusions. And that when they evolved to walk on land, I believe they became tusks. There was an occasion when Osh put me in trance, and he showed me every part of his face and talked to me, explained to me about every part of his face. It was fascinating. It went on for quite some time, and I have no memory of it.
So, are we able to ask you to be the voice of Osh for us now, and are we allowed to ask a question?
Yes.
Yes.
He is ready.
So our question, we're doing interviews now for the Love Now movement, and we're going around the world and we're asking people about love, what is love? And we'd like to ask Osh, what is love?
Osh explains that love is in reality the opening and the joining, the merging of the hearts. He does a meditation piece where he asks us to focus on all hearts throughout the world beating as one. All hearts in unison beating as one, so that all hearts are joined regardless of the belief system, regardless of the ethnicity, so that we truly become aware that we are one. Love is that unconditional acceptance, recognition, honoring that comes from the opening and joining of the heart.
So I understand that there are several very famous crystal skulls around the world, and people are becoming more aware, like the general public, of the messages of crystal skulls. If we could ask now Osh to give us what is the message, the most important message that he could give humankind now.
People must learn to honor each other, to recognize that unity, recognize that we all live together on this planet, and it is up to us to honor each other, to love, accept each other, to have compassion and responsibility for each other as well as for this planet. If that does not occur, if mankind is not able to open their hearts and join together in unity, the cycle will end.
This human cycle, this earthly cycle. Is Osh able to transcend time and space and see into our future?
He has taught me that what happened on December 21st, 2012 is that we entered the time that is not written, and what occurs in this time period is based on us. We have been, everything that we need to know, we have been taught up to this point to prepare us, and now is the time for us to take action, to actually walk our talk, to live our belief system, not simply set it back up on the bookshelf or file it away for future reference, but to actually live that we have been taught. He talks about sometimes the percentages, if you will, the percentages of where mankind's consciousness is and awareness at the moment, and he's indicating that right now we are between 60 and 70% in unity, in awareness of who we are and where we need to be.
60 to 7% mankind, all of humanity on planet Earth.
Correct.
That's good.
Yes, that is good. That number can fluctuate in any given moment, but that is where we are at this time.
We're going to take that number and run with it, I think.
Yes, yes, and make it bigger and bigger.
Yeah. Thank you. Speaking with Dr. Alfred Nellams, who is a naturopathic doctor, and I am fascinated to hear about how you work and what type of healing you do, and what are your views on health?
Well, first of all, my views on health is one must, eat right and live right for the mind, body, and spirit.
So how do we live right and eat right?
Well, first we got to start thinking right. And what's thinking right? For your well-being. That's the only way. And then secondly, your body. You start nourishing your body. And then, of course, that awakens your spirit. You need all three.
But what do you do to actually live right? What is the prescription for right living?
Well, right living. Well, as I said, eating, living correctly. Now, what's correctly? Don't do injury. Anything that causes injury to the body is not correct. So we avoid injuring the body.
So what does cause injury to the body? Alcohol, drugs?
Bad foods, artificial flavors, all of those things. The more natural you can eat and live, the better off you are. And that's one of the premises that your natural health is based on.
So we've heard a lot about the water here, this very special mineral water. Can you tell us what part of the body that it's working with and how it does that?
Okay. Well, the spring water, first of all, is about 3,800 years old. If it rained today, the water come back 3,800 years later. Secondly, it's rich with natural minerals that your body needs. And thirdly, it affects all your internal organs. It has a little arsenic in it that stimulates the immune system, flushes it out.
So like a homeopathic dose of
Yeah,
arsenic.
almost, yeah. Natural water. Yeah, it should be that way.
Can you overdose on the water and drink too much?
No, not at all. You're just good for. What happens with that water is your body absorbs 90% of it. Commercial water, and I'm speaking of, anything out of a faucet, your body can only absorb about 25% of it.
5%, yeah.
Large molecules.
So this water, is it a water that we should be drinking, or can you also bathe in it?
Well, but it's better to drink it. Yeah, bathe your internals with that water. Most of our diseases are internal. So drinking water, good water, is just a natural thing for human beings.
Do you know, there was a doctor during the World War II who was in a Nazi concentration camp, and he only had water as medicine, and that's all that he gave to his patients within the camp. Do you believe that water also has the healing ability to heal absolutely everything?
Water has the ability to help heal the body. The normal body function is healing yourself, but you have to eat right, and of course think right. So with those things all in place, yes, your body can heal. But you have to follow the law that's required to heal. There is a law.
What is the law?
The law is that you must be obedient to the laws of nature body. It's our body, but we must be obedient to it and give it what it needs to enjoy the benefits.
But don't you think that people's bodies are so corrupted by all of the EMF, the electromagnetic frequencies, or the poisons in our air, or the food, or the chemtrails?
Now, very good. Now comes what do we have in our body to counter those effects? Like I can touch one right there for yours. Feel that, don't you?
Yes.
See? Yeah, man. Right. Release your own body's energy. The body is the hero. So only a healthy body can get you well. Absolutely. That's another law. Only a healthy body can get you well. So that's the goal. So when we release these energies that the body has, the body can start healing itself.
And what's this one right here?
Oh, that's the right there. Oh yeah.
What's that one?
That's a release. No. It's a Dr. Spock touch. We call it.
Dr. Spock. Yeah, I know Dr. Spock well.
Yeah, the Vulcan move.
Vulcans.
No, I'm just teasing you. It's a center release for your thoracic duct that sits here. And most of this is, see right there?
Yeah, that's
a
very
lot.
sore.
Yeah, that's a lot. Puts a lot of pressure on you here. Right. So we release that, opens up the energy, and the body takes care of itself. It's an old art.
I think I'm going to go and get a release with you this weekend.
Oh, great.
Yes. So I can get through this festival.
And we don't have to be sick now.
No, I'm not sick.
No, that's what I'm saying.
Yeah.
Okay, very good. Look forward to it.
Thank you very much. Thank you. Here we are with Jim and Joe and Sephora, and we are looking at crystals from the Ron Coleman mine.
This is a phantom. It's a crystal in a crystal. It's got a ghost crystal inside of it. It's a very rare find. It's one of my favorites. It was a gift from the spirits there. This is one of my very favorites because it is so pure and so clean. It has all of the elements involved in crystal growth and formation attached to it. And it also has Buddha sitting in the back in the lotus position. This is a Tao, which is a 5-sided On 3 sides, it has 5 sides. On the alternating sides, it has a pyramid. If there's a 5-sided face with a pyramid behind it, that makes it a channeling. If there's 3 of them on the same point, that makes it a triple channeler. So this has 3 times the energy and power that the rest of them do. And it's also an ET, which means it's self-healed. It's still growing. All these little points on the bottom are becoming crystals. And this is my favorite of the couple dozen that I have of the Dows, which they're called. And then I've got a couple in my pocket. I have this one, which I call my shark, because I think it reminds me of one. It's a shark holding a crystal. Right down to the teeth. See the teeth?
Great.
And that's a beautiful little crystal, so I keep it in the bag. And I've got this one. This one is my heart. And it's shaped like a heart with the ventricles and all, inlets, outlets, and this is a free-floating crystal. This was never attached to anything. It was never broken off anywhere. It's its own entity. Yes.
And that came from here too?
That came from Ron Coleman's. All of these come from Ron Coleman's.
Jim, could you just give us a brief on what we can use these crystals for? Like for people that are new to crystals, how can we use these crystals? Why are they so special?
Well, because they have their own energy. There wouldn't be a transistor radio, cell phone, satellite, TV, computer, 3/4 of our vehicles. None of these things would function without crystals in them. So they're a very, very important part of our lives, but people don't realize that this is the basis of their beginning, is the raw crystal. They're the only element on this earth that I know of that has no carbon in them, so they cannot be carbon dated. So they are timeless. They don't know if they're billions of years old or 1,000, because there's no way of telling. They cannot be carbon dated.
And what can we use these crystals for? Like this beautiful large one you have here. How do you use it?
It could be used in any of the healing processes if you care to. You can channel and meditate with them if you choose to. Besides them being one of the most beautiful natural things on this earth, I mean, they don't have to be cut and shaped like diamonds or so many other of the stones. They come as they are. They're magnificent. Every one of them is different. There are no 2 exactly alike. And I don't know that they've ever come to a conclusion as to what their limits are, because I don't think anybody's ever gone that far with them. They're an eternal source of energy. You can literally get in a dark closet and run them together and they'll give off sparks because they have energy. And they have electricity in them, their own life force that is there. And I'm just happy that they like me and come to me in these forums, because a lot of people don't get this blessed, this lucky about finding them. Some people go there and dig all day and don't get anything. I go there and they give me these, and I thank them.
We are here now with David Garwood, who is from England originally. He's travelled all over the world working as a healer, as a psychic and a medium.
Correct, yeah. Yeah, the work I do really is started right because I wanted to prove life continued on after death as a medium. Now, the reason I wanted to prove this, because I was a skeptic.
You were a skeptic.
I was a skeptic. What came into my mind and what came in, my thoughts and that, and knowing what you say mediumship and talking to the spirit world. I'd done it for many, many years, but I was always skeptical. And it took the death of my wife for me to actually know and want to do this work, because I wanted to prove to myself that life continued on after death, or life after life, as I would do this. I've worked now for spiritual churches, spiritual centres, on stage, on platform, and worked with audiences up to about 2,500.
Wow. So let me ask you, what is your experience now? What actually happens after death?
The experiences after the work I've done. I still shock myself from time to time. Stuff what comes out of my mind and comes because now I'm evidential, so I only give evidence, especially when I'm on platform or stage. I only give evidence, right, which comes from the spirit world. Is the information they give me, it shocks me because I think, how can I say that to the person?
As in, how could you know that, or?
No, how can I? A lot of this stuff, because I won't interfere with it, a lot of this stuff was, how could I say that? Your husband was an alcoholic, right, and you went through this, and you went through this, real nasty things. But it's all part of the healing situation, because often people will come through to say, I'm sorry, I didn't know what it was. They never ask for forgiveness. They always want to apologize. One of the things I always say after a show is don't wait until your loved one's passed to say what you really want to say. If you're going to say to them, I love you, say it then. Because I know when my own bringing up, my father never once said to me, I love you. And I feel we've got to do that. Okay, continue. Right.
So can I ask you, so when you're sitting with someone like now, if you're sitting with me, are you picking up on something, or is there a...
No, I don't.
You switch it on, you switch it off?
I switch it on, I switch it off. If you allowed the spirit world to run your life and talk to you, because they won't, God gave you free will, or the creative force gave you free will. You wouldn't be living your life, you'd be living a life of control. You become what I would say is a robot. And you're in here to have lifetime experiences. The experiences become the journey. But the biggest thing I'm here for and work for is I really want people to love themselves. The most important thing, every time I give readings to males, females, more so to women, because we give more readings to women, is 90% of the time, the person who I'm talking to doesn't love themselves. They've lost the love of their self. So we finish up with people who are very sick. So it's no doubt why we've got a very sick planet. If you can't love yourself, how can you love anybody else? How can you love the planet? How can you love the earth? How could I in New Zealand love the bush? The world does go round on love. There is no true truth. That's what we're here for. That's the experience we're here for, is to learn to love ourselves. I often, most cases I give a little mantra which came from the first Dalai Lama. And it says, I am God, I am spirit, I am immortal. I love myself for who I am and what I am. I am what I am, I am. And you should say it 3 times as a mantra, and you should say it looking in the mirror, looking at your own reflection. Don't look direct in the mirror, because you're going to say it first thing in the morning. When I get up in the morning, I look at my mirror and I go, oh my God, who's that? So you look side on, because he said when you did this, it was when you went down to the river to get the water, and it would be very stony and the water would be breaking up. So it's far better to say this. You say it morning, repeat it 3 times, you say it lunchtime if you can, and evening just before going to bed. You can also add to this. You can say, I am God, I am spirit, I am immortal. I also feel I'm going to have a wonderful day. Nothing's going to upset me. I'm going to live this day and it's going to be a perfect day. And you can add to it, and as long as then you put the rest on to finish it off. I am God, and you finish this up, but you must love yourself.
So just describe for me, what do you mean by love?
Love is, right, first of all, start forgiving yourself. When you do something wrong or you've been taught that what that's done is wrong, which 9 out of 10 times it isn't, it's only what other people's perspective of right and wrong is. A lot of people, right, who I give readings to today, through all sorts of things, beat themselves up for things because of what religion has told them. I find a lot of women who come to me, have done things like had abortions, this, that and the other, and it's going to haunt them for the rest of their life. When I know from the spirit world, I'm told, the spirit world thank them for allowing their bodies to be used to carry a fetus for just a very short while. And that fetus, right, when it's passed over, it becomes an angel or a nymph. In other words...
An angel or a nymph?
Nymph. In other words, a male angel. Because it must touch earth. And in today's lifetime, we need more angels on this planet than we've ever needed before. They walk amongst us today. Our children are coming through far, far spiritually minded than we ever was, or I ever was. They know what this planet needs. And they're part of it. They actually are doing what I'm trying to do, is say to people, love yourselves. If you can love yourself, you're going to love everything else around you. You know, it's so important to us. So I've made that my task in the last 15 years to go around. I also, go for training, like I've, tried to work as a healer, using trance healing and what have you. I've also, as you know, I've just been to Peru and I've worked with shaman. I would never call myself a shaman because it's just not in my nature. If I'm going to call myself anything, I'd go back to my Celtic stage and say, I'm a weird, which is another name for being a shaman. I often teach where shaman come from, and I often teach it in New Zealand to Maori, Aborigine and everything else, because we've all got our shaman. We may call them shaman, we may call them witch doctors or medicine women. We've all got them. In Britain, it was shunned upon, and Europe for many years, we called them witches. Then we called them white witches and what have you. Anything what went against the Christian belief or university beliefs, somehow I've learned that religion and universities and education go together. They will hide the truth from anything. They will not allow the truth to be spoken. They will destroy whatever there is. If it's evidence which is thousands of years old and it doesn't suit their beliefs, they will get rid of it. And they will try and destroy the person if they keep pushing it through. For the simple reason, they're the ones which actually give their awards out. If I'm a professor, I can't teach for years and years and years and make you a doctorate and all this and give you a doctorate. If it's going to be proved, I taught you rubbish. So when we try to find the truth, they question it and say no. And if there is evidence, they will destroy it to keep their place in authority. You know, it's a very nice life to live. You know, when people bow down to you, yes, doctor, yes, professor, yes, your majesty. When people start to bow down to you and they look up to you, to lose that would be dreadful. But normal people have got to learn they are as clever and as educated and have the same rights and the same mind as the people who they are looking at. What makes a priest different from a shaman? There is no difference. They're just different beliefs. And I feel my belief and your belief, we have so much right to it. And if it's going to help the world to move on, I never ask for money. Never. If people give money for readers, fair enough. But I never ask. And for healing, I will not take money at all. I will not take money. For the simple reason, it is a gift from the Great Spirit. Whatever name you give. I believe in prayer. But when I give prayer, the one thing is when I do an opening, I always say, O Great Spirit, Creator of all things, Almighty God, and any name which man made have made you throughout the history of mankind. Because we all worship the same God, so why should we be beating one another up, having crusades or God knows what else, killing one another, if we're all worshipping the same thing?
So the Love Now movement is all about oneness.
The love is to recognize, regardless of colour, creed, race or anything, we all came from one place. And whatever religion you believe, it always talks about the beginning.
And we're all going to one place.
And we're all going
in one
to,
place.
yes, and we all, it doesn't matter where we came from. The Queen of England, right, came from the same place I came from. And believe me, she's going to go back to the same place I'm going to. And
Amen.
Pardon?
Amen.
Amen. Nothing's going to change. And I'm not knocking the Queen of England, but I'm just turning around prime ministers, presidents. They are normal human beings. They make mistakes. The only thing is they never admit to it. Because a president can't make a mistake. Well, believe me, the past presidents of the United States and the past prime ministers of Great Britain have made huge mistakes. They've developed and invented, right, things to go to war. For one thing, control. We want control of the oil, or we want control of the money.
We have a lot of work to do in bringing people back into their power, bringing people back into oneness, bringing people back into love. So,
and they all come, you know, powerless is loving oneself. That's the only way you're ever going to gain your own feelings, your own strengths, is to love oneself. And that's my job, is to get people to believe in themselves. And basically, that's it. And to get it, and to tell their children, yes, I love you. And when the child comes in from school, mum's busy, they've both been working, to say to the child, what did you do today? And she says, I did this, I did that, I got a star. And say, just how great you are, it's wonderful, it's lovely. You know, I've trained dogs for search and rescue for years. What do we do to a dog? As soon as the dog does something well, we say,
good boy.
Good boy, super dog, it's wonderful. Yeah, we praise them up. How many times do we say that to our kids? 9 out of 10 times, they come to talk to you. Oh, look, I'm tired, I'm worn out. I've got to cook dinner, please, tell me later. And they never do. So give them time.
Love your children.
It's the one thing they need is your time and for you to listen to them. Yeah. I can remember when I was a child, I had all this spirituality in me and what have you. And I can remember coming home in the 50s. It was fog. You couldn't see your hand in front of you from school. And it was dark. And I got home and my mother said, "Where have you been? It's late. I'm worried about you." And I turned around and said, "Oh, Mum, I've been talking to Mr. Potts." Well, did I get a hiding? I got a hiding of my life for that, for telling the truth. In my truth, I've been talking to Mr. Potts.
Who is Mr. Potts?
Mr. Potts was a man down the road who died 7 weeks before I spoke to him.
This was the beginning of your mediumship?
No, I'd played, because of the war years and being in these homes, I'd actually played in cupboards and was put into cupboards when I was naughty. If you were naughty, they couldn't cane you because you were too ill to cane. But the way they would do it, they had these cupboards. They were something like 8 feet tall. They'd had in these big old houses, which they had turned into nursing homes and what have you. And they would put you in there, right, as punishment. And the only light which would come in was light around the door, or if the match lining had come away. So there would be a little bit of light coming in. I used to be deliberately naughty to get locked in that cupboard. Because when I got into that cupboard, I had all my spirit friends. I didn't need any human friends. But after a while, after you start to, as I say, to get hidings and this, that and the other, you get older, the spirit will move away from you. You've got to live a real life. And that life has got to be there on this planet. And I finished up being in the paras. Well, you can't go around the paras saying life this and life that. You're a young man, 18 years of age, right? And you've got to be a man's man, a professional killer for the Queen sort of thing. So if you're going to be that, well, that's basically what it is. That's what they're asking you to do.
Yes.
They're asking you to become a professional killer, right, for the crown. They actually get you to virtually swear an oath on this. But you will carry out your duties, and you love, honour and obey. Yeah. So we're actually, I believe, every one of us today is being called to become a killer on reactions. Every game we give children today, right, we sit them in front of a TV, we give them a gun, and they kill things all over the place. It can start from hunting, this, that, and the other. And the whole thing is, they never realise they're actually killing another human being, someone just like them.
Well, it's the normalisation of very violent behaviour. So what do you think people should be doing now to bring more love into the world?
Quite honestly, first, my biggest thing is, right, to realise that all religions worship the same God. I mean, if you go to the Bible, even Christ said it, he turned round and he made a statement, do not throw good seed on stony ground.
Okay, so all of the world religions recognise that we're worshipping the same God, yes. And then what can we do personally?
Personally, I still say it boils down to one thing: start to love yourself. Self-love. If you self-love yourself, then you can love your children, parents, and everybody else, and you will start to love your nation. You'll start to love the world. But the world, regardless of colour, creed, we are all of one thing. It's the human person we are. That's the joining part, is not being part of the American nation or the British nation or a Kiwi in the New Zealand one, right? But you are a member of the human race. You are human being.
And you are love.
You are love.
You are love. We're here with Philip DeLong, who is a reverend, a healer, a teacher, and also a medium and a psychic.
Yes, I am.
Yes, so Thank you so much for your talks here at the festival, and your talks about the skulls have been fascinating. I would love if you could just talk about the skulls and tell us what is the importance of these skulls. Why are we all so attracted to them, and what's actually going on?
Right. The crystal skull to me represents life and human consciousness. So when you break it down into that, life is a reminder of the skull shape that we either have lived a past life, okay, and we have reincarnations, or we have parallel universes. So it's the honoring of the flesh of humanity is what they represent. As far as human consciousness, the shape of the skull, when we go into meditation and we access the what we call 13 skull consciousness, then we receive messages from the universe through the skull consciousness.
When you say universe, what do you mean by universe? You mean as in God, divine, or universal consciousness?
It is the I am, it is the one and the everything is that we receive information from. So it is part of the universe that is giving us information that what I call just remembering. You know, we're on this planet to experience life on our journey. When we embody in the third dimension, there's a lot of remembering that we have to do. The skulls are a tool to access that.
So we're accessing our own memory of our multi-consciousness, of our...
Yes, but our own memory, but also memories and information from the universe. As, I guess, a minister, I would say it has to do with some of the gifts of the Holy Spirit, or gifts of Spirit, that we find in 1 Corinthians. And some of that, when we meditate with the skulls, would be the gifts of speaking, and that would be the gifts of tongue, the interpretations of the tongue, and prophecy. So when we meditate with the skulls, that information can come in many tongues, many alien tongues that we do not know or speak. Now, it's the interpretation of those tongues that creates that information or alien tongues into our human consciousness that we can understand. In my case, English. Somebody else's case could be German, could be Russian. Okay.
So what's the best way to connect with the skull and to receive the information? How do you actually physically do it?
When I meditate with it, I go inside the skull, much as like you would go inside a crystal. Okay, so it's what I call merging with the skull, or in Star Trek type talk, it would be the Vulcan mind meld. So you're retrieving the information within the skull, which connects to the universal consciousness.
So I can simply connect by placing my hand on the skull?
Yes, you can. You don't actually have to touch the skull to do that, just the visual image of it being next to you, or if it's not next to you, just that image within your mind merging and accessing that consciousness.
And can you just tell me, this particular skull here is whom?
That is Hu, which is spelled H-U, and that is one of the vibrations of the universe, going to Om, and then Hu, the primordial sound.
So as a great big Omer that I am, I'm very attracted to this skull. So are you able to give a message to me from this skull? Are you able to be the voice for the skulls as well?
Yes, I can do that, and as a channel. And let me connect with Hu. The message that I'm getting for you, it is, as you say, living in the now, but it is the passion that you're pursuing. Never forget the passion. It is your insight.
It is mine.
insight. Okay, so when you follow your passion, you are on your journey, experiencing your journey. What Hugh is saying, that there are many light workers that you actually send your light out to, that your community is going to grow, all right, more than what it is now. It's electronically, it's through the mediums of the internet. Also, this is a general message that he has, is right now we're in a vortex. Okay, in Arkansas, where two vortexes intersect. It's high energy. But you have to remember you're your own vortex. That you connect to the universe, you get all that information, and you attract people. So it's the attractedness of your light that you have to project, and you project it with your passion. Never forget your passion.
I am a very passionate person. Yes. Thank you, Hugh. Thank you very much. Did you, when you were finding all these skulls, did you feel like you were literally coming into a place in your life that was like no other place ever before in all of your lifetimes? Does this feel to you like, because this is the message I'm getting from one of these beings here, is that this is like the explosive lifetime for all of us. This is where we go from being very, very unaware of ourselves, obviously, into a very huge space together.
Yes, I agree with that statement. With anything, okay, crystals, whatever crystals it is, the shape of the crystal skull exemplifies it into the human consciousness.
What, can you just explain that? Exemplifies it into human consciousness. Can you explain that more?
We work with a crystal for healing, and say clear quartz, a clear quartz itself will heal on the skeletal level and on the skin level, so it's healing the body in a healing fashion on your whole body. Physically, emotionally, it will erase your emotions into a higher vibration of love.
Erase emotions into a higher vibration of love?
Yes.
So it helps you to transmute or transcend any emotions into love emotions.
That's correct. And mentally, it gives you that focus. But when we work with the crystal skull, it allows us to work with the human consciousness, as to allowing you to either subconsciously transmute, perhaps. Okay, so when we look at the crystal skulls and work with them, it is a tool to your higher self. And as we raise our vibration and become more the oneness, then the tools are in our subconscious to use them. So as I referred to before, when you access the skull consciousness, or the Christ consciousness, or Buddha consciousness, it's all the same. It's that vision allows you as a tool to access your higher self. As you raise your vibrations, the less tools you need. You just become a light being, or a vehicle of light.
The question that we ask everyone, because this is the Love Now movement, is what is love?
Love is the primordial sound of the universe. It is the expression of the universe, period. Nothing out of the universe could have been created without love. And when we look again in the biblical quotes, in the beginning there was the Word. So, okay, that word is that vibration, it is that Om, it is that Hu, okay? That's the expression of love, okay? Now, the universe, if we look at it, is always in a vibration of change, okay? Out of chaos comes creation. Okay? So when we look at in the beginning there was the Word, in the beginning there was the thought to create the Word. Okay? So that thought form began with love and continues.
The thought form of God, of the divine.
The divine, it's whatever you want to call the creator, the infinite intelligence, divine creator, great spirit, whatever name humanity has called it. It's all the same. It is the creation, the light frequency. Okay?
Thank you so much.